We really needed to make sure that we had our own bill that would help our student athletes. So that's really what was done here, and we're just excited about being one of the 18, maybe it's 19 states right now that have enacted one of these bills.
Dan, is there for Clemson that the governor decided to come here today?
I think it's awesome. I think it says a lot about our government relations people and how well they work with members of the governor's staff and the House and the Senate. We're very active, and the folks who are involved in that, I think it was recognized, and they wanted to come and do this bill signing here at Clemson.
And is there any concern, or do you have any concern with, I guess, some of these that are getting ready to start now, July 1st, whereas this one will start in 2022? Is there any discussion about that or anything?
Well, I think it's going to really boil down to what happens over the next, today's the 14th, next few weeks, right, from the standpoint of the NCAA. Will the NCAA open up this opportunity for the 32 states, if my math is correct, that have not done this? So to keep an equal playing field across the country. So I think that's where we really have to look and see what would happen next. But this is helpful for us.
You mentioned the Open Doors Committee. What specifically do they do, and how do they help the student athletes?
Open Doors is a content company that comes out and helps student athletes take the pictures and the video and the content that we do, pull it all together, and allow them to push it out in a very efficient manner on their Instagrams and Facebook and Twitter accounts. But they also do a lot of education, because this is going to be new revenue, new wages, for the lack of a better term, for our student athletes. So they're going to have to pay taxes on it. It's very different than a scholarship. So Open Doors is also a company that helps us provide, not only through our own compliance staff, but through their company, educational modules to allow our student athletes to know and understand every part of what NIL is.
How much of the student athletes' feedback, when you guys are going through all this, have you talked to them about it and what's going on?
I think student athletes in general right now know the concept, but they might not know all the details. And that's really where the education piece comes in. There's going to be student athletes who are really well versed in it, who have the ability to monetize right away. There'll be others that will just take their steps, take their time to see exactly what it might be able to do for them. And then some student athletes say, you know what, it's just not what I'm here for. I'm here to get an education, compete athletically, and name, image, and likeness is not high on my list.
Do you foresee this being beneficial across all sports?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there will be, we all have some of the guys that are back here, the football guys and the basketball guys. I think this could be a real boon for women's athletics as well, because there's an incredible market. You see, I think it's the gymnast at UCLA has more Twitter and Instagram followers than any collegiate athlete. So yes, this will be beneficial to all student athletes.
Is there any concerns, Dan, as y'all go forward, like things that concern you guys as administrators and also for the student athletes?
We have a rule book that's about this big in the NCAA, about 500 pages, and not everybody follows the rules, okay, today, prior to this. So could there be unscrupulous people? Absolutely. But we're going to manage that the same way we do the current rules right now. Student athletes also have the ability to have marketing representation. And there are good marketing representatives, and there are some bad ones. So part of our education will be to help them be able to understand the difference between the two.
You mentioned what happened over the next few weeks will play a pretty big role. How close are you kind of monitoring things?
Monitoring it close, because we're getting ready that July 1st, pending NCAA rules and regulations, that something could happen. So all of our folks that are working on this are pointing towards that day. If it does happen, great. If not, then we have another year to help refine things before it comes into play here in South Carolina.
So it's possible, I guess, if the NCAA passes, that all this stuff will go into lock quicker. Is that correct?
Parts of it, for sure. And I can't tell you which parts because I don't know what they're going to do yet.
What education have y'all already done, and what is still on the to-do list?
Well, I think that we're preparing the education. Okay, so understanding that representation piece financial literacy, understanding that now you're going to have to take these earnings and put them into a bucket where you're going to have to pay taxes on it, which is different than your scholarship, which is non-taxable. So understanding how to deal with that, how to segment that, how to deal with time, because right now student athletes, they go to school, they work their sport, they have a social life. Well, now there's going to be another time element pulled in. How are they going to manage that, and to help them manage that through some educational pieces? Okay?